Just barely in time. Okay. My casting tab.
Good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. I'd like to welcome you to the regular meeting of the Clearlake City Council, being hosted here at City Council Chambers, located at 14050 Olympic Drive in Clearlake, California. Today is Thursday, September 7th, 2023. It is 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Councilmember Slotin.
Here.
Councilmember Overton.
Here.
Councilmember Kramer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Claffey.
Here.
And Mayor Purdock.
Here. Councilmember Floyd. Again, I'd just like to ask that we hold those that are not, especially in Lahaina, in our thoughts and prayers. I'd like to just request a moment of silence to consider those that are still missing and families that are still struggling. Thank you. Thank you very much. Being from Lake County and Clear Lake, we know the struggles with those wildfires. Mr. Floor, any changes to the agenda? Yeah, Mr. Yeah, I don't.
I thought.
Councilmember Slotin is working. Okay, we're good.
It's work.
Working.
Okay, good. So one change to the agenda. Item number 6 was listed as public hearings. Necessary. I coming through real good.
Sorry, we can't hear back here.
Okay, we'll hold the meeting for a second while we assess these technical issues. Thank you all for coming.
And talk.
Try it.
Test.
Yeah.
It doesn't really sound like, I can't really hear you.
Keep going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Better.
Swap them out.
Okay, so I'm gonna try that again.
Can you hear me? Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so just item number 6 was listed as a public hearing, which isn't necessarily a public hearing. So today on that item, it's just a simple business item, so we just recommend the council identify that as a business item.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. So maybe have a motion to accept the agenda as submitted with the recognized changes. Motion by Councilmember Foote and a second by Councilmember Kramer. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. And submit your electronic vote.
Mr. Mayor, I'll have the voting up on the TV in just one moment.
Very good. Signify by saying
Aye.
aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Voila.
I haven't been here in a couple of weeks, so
But Thomas has not been here in a couple of weeks. Just keep going. Go roll back a little bit, we'll be fine.
Yes.
yeah, you're fine, but not so close. I got real good feedback tonight. Okay,
Thank you, Tom.
you're welcome.
All right, next on the agenda is item E, presentations. I'll step down to the podium for that. And we're over to Oh, nothing else, okay. City of Clearlake, we would like to recognize Native American Day. We have a proclamation here that I would like to read on behalf of the City Council. Native American Day, September 22nd, 2023. Whereas on Native American Day, we acknowledge and honor the first people of Lake County and Clear Lake who exemplify the values of all those in our community in their resilience, compassion, and strength. And whereas Lake County has been home to people for more than 12,000 years and richly diverse cultures of tribes, tribal nations, indigenous Lake County, and Clear Lake have influenced every aspect of our community history. And whereas Native Americans have helped to make our community stronger and more prosperous. And whereas we celebrate the richness of the city's unique tribal history and traditions and unique Native American cultures having him on every American. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Clearlake City Council does hereby call upon all citizens to recognize the special contributions Native Americans have made to our city and statutes and states.
Just turn it off. Okay, sorry. We're gonna adjust it right here.
I'll try to.
Where's the box that used to be bigger?
Therefore, you claim the City of
So sorry,
City
folks.
Council does hereby call upon all citizens.
Turn that volume back up.
Native Americans of the city and salute those who have thought.
Down, back down.
The important role of
Okay, right there.
leadership in the city past. This 7th day of September 2023, it's time to call somebody out. And I would like to offer Dick Ring and our work director, and Patty, to would you like to say a few words? We accept the message of the president. You're very welcome. He's not long.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know, we have Mr. Jack and Representative Cleveland.
Yeah,
Travis
please.
was on Zoom,
I'd also like to recognize, yeah, I would, and I'll get to gentlemen in Zoom in just a second. I'd also like to call up our friend and manager of our local travel help. Who's seated in here. Join us. I'd like to present this to you as well. And I hope that you will share that with the visitors and tribal members that can be. We're happy to have that partnership. Thank you for coming. You're very well. See, very well. Thank you.
Yes,
We have a gentleman joining us on Zoom from one of our local tribes. I believe he's a representative. Thank you.
yes, my name is Jack Duran. I am.
Just a second, Jack, we can't hear you on the overhead.
Okay.
So we'll try to get that fixed.
Mr. Duran?
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
Okay.
And so you can either point this towards where are your speakers?
I don't ever use them.
Okay. And go ahead and speak, Mr. Duran.
Great. Thank you. I really appreciate the council taking the time to recognize the contributions to Native Americans in the Lake, in and around the Lake County area. I currently serve as the general counsel to the Elam Indian Colony. At some point in time over my career, I think I've represented just about every tribe in the Lake County area. So I'm very familiar with Lake County and Lake County culture. I myself am an affiliate with the Isleta del Sur Pueblo, as well as the Ketchikan Indian community. And I'm not sure if you can see me, but I just stepped off the bench as a judge for a tribe in the state of Nevada. So that's why I'm dressed the way that I am. So thank you very much for the recognition and the work you're doing. Really appreciate that. And the tribe looks forward to working with you moving forward in the future on mutually beneficial community projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining our meeting and taking time to make your comments.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our second presentation. It gives me great pleasure to ask Councilmember Overton to step down, and Councilmember Overton, please invite any guests you have here tonight.
Vice Mayor David Lackey.
Vice Mayor, please come down. And the Senior Center Board, see coming up. Thank you all for coming down. The City Council would also like to recognize this evening Senior Center Month, which is September 2023 this year. And our proclamation reads as follows. Whereas older Americans are significant members of our society, investing their wisdom and experience to help enrich and better the lives of younger Americans. And whereas the Highlands Senior Service Center has acted as a catalyst for mobilizing the creativity, energy, vitality, and commitment of the older residents of Clearlake and Lake County. And whereas through a wide array of services, programs, and activities, the Highlands Senior Service Center empowers older adults to contribute to their own health and well-being and the well-being of their fellow citizens of all ages. And whereas the Highlands Senior Service Center affirms the dignity, self-worth, and independence of older persons by facilitating their decisions and actions, tapping their experiences, skills, and knowledge, and enabling their continued contributions to the community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Clear Lake City Council does hereby call upon all citizens to recognize the special contributions of the Highlands Senior Service Center participants and the special effort of the staff and volunteers who work every day to enhance the well-being of the older adults in our community. This, the 7th day of September 2023, presented by the City Council of the City of Clear Lake. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here. And I'd like to introduce President Stephanie Godley.
Well, thank you very much, City Council, for honoring the senior center. And I cannot say enough. It is probably one of my biggest privileges to be the president of this wonderful group. You have absolutely no idea of all the things that happen at the senior center. You really can't hear me. It's a wonderful place to be. There's lots of activities. And oh, by the way, if you want to join for lunch, great lunches Monday through Thursday, and it's open now Friday too. Oh, well, anyway, it's open to everybody. So thank you again.
Oh, I'm gonna give it to you just a second. I gotta hand it up a little bit. If you're not aware, the judges breakfast began meeting down there, how long ago? But we go down there, get everything morning at 7 o'clock. The senior center prepares a beautiful breakfast for the participants and speakers. And we just can't thank you enough for that. And the many other things that you guys do. Plus, little plug for Rotary here. We do have some exercise equipment down here. So if you're looking to move and you live in that area, come on down, check out the exercise equipment. And now I'll pass it over to the executive director of this community center, senior center, Joyce Solution.
Thank you. And part of that exercise equipment is also sponsored by PG&E.
Yeah.
So it's a combination between the Rotary and the thing, so it's used a lot, but now we only have 3 pieces, hopefully we'll get more, but it's a nice place, it's nice and calm and quiet. What I want to let you guys know is like, let's just take today, I'm gonna take today's figures, we have 64 seniors there to eat today. So, you know, and as you mostly know, we live in a low income area for our seniors. We have the most population over 80, 90, and even 100. We have several that are in their 80s and 90s that come in every day to eat without the center there. I don't know what they would do because they're on very small incomes. Years ago, you know, the income wasn't, you know, Social Security wasn't so great, you know, so when they retire, they're getting like $600, you know, so it's really important that we're there for them. Also, as we're open to the public, so just because you're not a senior does not mean you cannot come in and eat. We have a beautiful buffet. We have 2 choices except for Friday. We only have breakfast on Friday. We try to close a little early. But the rest of the days we always have our main menu and then we have a chef's special. We have an awesome salad bar. You cannot beat our salad bar anywhere. And if you're under 60, it's only $10. If you're 60 or older, it's only a suggested price of $5. You cannot get that food anywhere. You know, you can't go to the doctor store or you can go to that. So, you know, we encourage that the public actually come down and participate in our center. That helps our senior center keep going. If you have meetings and stuff, I'm gonna say that till in the end of October, because we're gonna bring closing down for a while and then we can facility because we're going to be renovating our kitchen and our center there. So but come down, you have meetings that you need to do or something, we'd be more than happy to try to help you guys work around that. We also do catering. So if you're having a meeting somewhere, you know, we can bring the catering to wherever you're at. So that helps bring in funding to keep our programs going, because we are not fully funded by our government, as some people think we are. We are not. The city is very generous to let us have our building for a small amount, and they really are how we sell. But we still have to come out with about 2/3 of the funding to run the center. So it's really important that we keep these programs going by community participating in them and donations and so that's how we've been keeping our center going down. So afterward that we do those things and come down and join us and have lunch. We serve lunch from 11 to 12. So I'm sure you guys can come down at some point. Right? Yes, let's see. Okay, thank you guys. Yeah.
Back to your regularly scheduled program. Moving on to item F, public comment. Public comment is a time for any member of the public or visitor to the community to address the city council. Feedback here too. To address the city council on any item that is not on the agenda for tonight's meeting. Because of the Brown Act restrictions, we are not able to respond to questions or have dialogue with anyone making a presentation tonight. But we will be happy to hear your comments and your concerns, your suggestions and your accolades for good things that staff does. But this time I would like to open up to public comment. I don't have any written requests, so I'll open up to the floor. Your time is 3 minutes at the mic. If you would kindly step forward if you'd like to make a comment, introduce yourself and what town you live in. Is there anyone who would like to address the council at this time? Please step forward to the mic. You're regular, you know. Welcome.
See, I'm a resident of Clearlake. And I just wanted to say that the new painted lines in the roadways are great. I don't know if you guys are the ones that Public Works, really great and needed. So I hope there's going to be more. Perfect, because they were getting kind of dangerous, so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I'd like to address the council at this time. Yes, please come forward.
Yes, Marietta O'Connor, I live in Clear Lake. I have requests quite a few times about potholes in our street and whatever, and nothing has ever been done. And I see a lot of streets up in the avenue and everywhere getting done, but nothing has been done over in our area.
We have an email you might want to sign up for that comes out fairly regularly, and you might want to address a question to our public works director. Ms. Addie, or sorry, Addie's sitting there. Please, thank you. Anyone else wanting to address council? Come on.
My name is Ellen Gonzalez, and I live in Fairlake. I want to know, I have a lot of clothes that I want to donate, but a lot of places say they're not accepting clothes. So you still have the tags on it. Is there a place that I can take them?
I would suggest that you can check for your local donations, but in the area.
Yeah, because a lot of places say they don't do it.
Hospice, the senior center, there's several that do. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. See, close that. G, consent agenda. Then I would like to pull an item from the consent agenda for council. Seeing none, anyone from the audience wanting to speak on an agenda item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for action. I'll second that. Councilmember Kramer makes the motion, Councilmember Floten seconds. All those in favor? Okay, and let's check if we have our voting. Aye. Any opposed? Nope.
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Thank you very much. Let's take a look. I would like to bring attention to item 3, which we just approved, which is an agreement with the Citizens Hearing for Clearlake, CC4C, for a Clean California grant. And they will be receiving the funding for that. They've been doing some wonderful work in our city limits, in the Borax area, and they're always all over the avenues. Park subdivision, like to recognize Nicole, who's here from CC4C, and also those who couldn't be present tonight. Nicole, if you'd like to say a couple of words and recognize your team, that would be great.
Lately, we've been working in acrylics, and also, although I know it's going to be changed, but I want to say thank you for recognizing us and the public who does support and volunteer, and the people that volunteer all throughout, right? And people have to do community service, also the court system that helps clean Clearlake and take it a better place for everybody.
Thank you for being here. And again, we really appreciate it. If you see something that looks maybe like a UFO, you identify it then as a floating mattress, you'll find out that Barbara Crutchers is probably on the other side of that. She has it on her bike carrying it to recycling. Just an incredible team, Nicole. We really appreciate all of our guys too. That wasn't a plug. I just was taking some fun because Barbara struggled to do that.
Service to the courts, you can do it to us, or if you need to get credits for a school, you can also do it to us.
Very good.
For the legal dump site, and that's the only thing. And also, if you go to the dump and you save your receipt, we can reimburse you up to $50 on Thursday down in town, across the street from Main Street.
Great information.
Thank you so much.
Again, we're trying to clean and beautify our city. It was wonderful to partner with CC4C. All right, moving on to public hearing. No business. Item 6. To adopt a resolution 2023-39, renewing ordinance 261-2022, and approval of the Clearlake City Police Department military equipment report. Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Is that better? Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Tonight I'm going to go over our, briefly go over our military equipment policy and go over our military equipment policy annual report from 2023 fiscal year. So basically, some quick background on this. In 2021, the governor signed into law Assembly Bill 481, which introduced sections 7070 through 7075 of the government code relating to the use of military equipment by California law enforcement agencies. The law requires that agencies utilizing or seeking to acquire military equipment as defined must have a policy approved by the city council by ordinance and review it annually thereafter. Currently, the Clearlake Police Department does not utilize former military equipment. However, the law's definition of military equipment is comprehensive and includes many items commonly used in law enforcement. The proposed policy identifies one item already owned by the city, a mobile command unit, and one item we intend to purchase in the future, an unmanned aerial system, a drone, which is the same as the ordinance that was adopted last year. I'm going to skip over and go over our annual report briefly from the last fiscal year regarding these two items. The annual report is going to cover 6 topics in each for each item: the use of the equipment, concerns and complaints received regarding the equipment, internal audit results, total annual cost, quantity, and then future acquisition plans. As far as the mobile command unit goes, we have one mobile command unit. The uses during this period were for the 4th of July event, for the Lakeshore Parade, the Lower Lake Parade. It responded out to several traffic collision investigations that were more in-depth investigations. It has some equipment for doing measurements, different things. And then also it responded to several more in-depth crime scene investigations to give a place for officers or staff that are doing crime scene processing to get out of the sun or get out of the rain, stuff like that. So those were the only uses during the year. We did not receive any concerns or complaints. Internal audit results, there were no issues found with the use of the command post. The total annual cost for the command post was $271 in fuel expenses during the year. The quantity again is 1, and acquisition plans for the future, none currently. Additionally, earlier today at 2 p.m., we held a public hearing, that a community engagement session on the military use equipment policy to go over the proposed policy in the ordinance and to go over the annual report. The meeting had been published in advance on the website and on social media. We had no members of the public attend the meeting. The second item on the policy is the unmanned aerial aircraft system. The use of the equipment, there was no uses this year as it has not been purchased. We have not received any concerns or complaints. Internal audit results, no issues. We don't have the item yet. Total annual cost was 0. And then quantity possessed 0. The future acquisition plans is still at 1. There are some other areas that we'll just briefly go over regarding the military use policy. There are other items that are commonly mentioned in military equipment policies that we do not have. Currently, we do not participate in a SWAT team. We do not have a SWAT team. However, there are other agencies that come here, whether it's the Lake County Sheriff's Office SWAT team, Sonoma County, Napa County, Mendocino County. Those agencies all have their own military equipment use policies, and our policy and the ordinance allow those agencies to use items that have been approved by their respective jurisdictions while providing mutual aid in the city of Clearlake. I think that about sums it up. I'll be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief Hobbs? Seeing none, I'll open it up for public comment. Anyone want to address the chief? Please step up to the mic and introduce yourself.
I'm just wondering, several years ago when we had fires, there was tankers that came here to town that were supposed to go protect, I guess, people's homes out of the cost area. And there was it looked like military vehicles from Clearlake police station. Is that part of, I guess, say, military?
No, it's not. During those fires, there were other agencies involved. There was the National Guard involved. They had some vehicles. The mobile command post or unit that we have is a ambulance that's converted to a mobile command unit.
Thank you for your question. Anyone else wanting to address the chief, please come forward.
I'm just curious as to, I know you guys got funding a year ago for the drone, and what has prevented you from purchasing?
We did not have any specific funding that was dedicated for that. We were looking into different options, and we had funding available in the budget if we found an item and we're going to get it, but we didn't set any money specifically aside for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, any question for the chief on this item? Seeing none, bring it back to the council.
Actually, I have one.
Yeah. So
I just want to give a little brief overview on some other things that somewhat relate to this. At this moment in time, it doesn't, but I mentioned that there are other agencies that have SWAT teams that, may participate in activities here for mutual aid. Additionally, just I wanted the council to be aware that we are in the final stages of getting into an agreement with several other agencies to do a mutual SWAT team involving all the law enforcement agencies in Lake County. Once that happens, I don't anticipate initially that we will make any changes to our military equipment policy, as the items we would need to acquire for our personnel do not currently fall into the requirements for AB 481. There are items that they would have and use that are under this and are in their military use policy, but at this time, I don't see it needing to make changes to our policy.
thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Zoom.
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. The council.
Resolution 23-39, resolution of the City Council of the City of Clearlake renewing its military equipment policy.
All in favor? Please say aye. And vote electronic.
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Members, City Council is being asked to approve a contract for the 2023 double chip seal project. Authorize the city manager to 10% for additional 5% contract amendments. The city's proposals for the construction of the double chip seal project. This project will take place in various areas of the city. Following bids were received by Pavement Coating for $626,425. Northwest Paving, $629,850, and VSS International for $781,000. Alan has a map shown on the screen. For the different areas, one of them being near Home Elementary. For easier vehicle access. The recommended action is to move to approve the contract with pavement coatings in the amount of $626,485.
Thank you for your report. Any questions?
It's really hard to see. Give us an idea where the areas are not. That we can have.
Yeah, I mean, just real quick, there's these 4 areas here. Additional sections in the avenue that haven't been completed. So essentially will complete the double chip seal projects that we intend to do in the near term in the avenue. So it's not 100% complete, but areas that have any real concentration of homes and public streets will be double chip seal avenues. And then based on discussions with the school district and some traffic issues around Como School, Director Lake was recommended adding a little section in up here to help traffic. Well, I mean, there's some other long-term things that need to be done there at Burns Valley. We've met school district.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. So,
Just a question, how is this per mile? Is it similar to the last couple of years? The mile cost and how many miles are we getting out of this? They can give them the number. It might be on the map, like I said.
5 miles and the cost is the same, I know it's slightly higher than last year's.
Thank you.
From a general perspective, been around $100,000 a mile for the double chip seal. Was it last year that we did too? It was a little cheaper than that there. I mean, some of the unit costs are up slightly, but generally it's $6.
use a lot of petroleum. I'd like to open this up to the public for any comments that you may have, questions you may have. Please step forward. Any on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Or
Mr. Mayor. Project as 10% additional length of steam.
second. Motion by Councilor Kramer, the second by Councilor Claffey. All those in favor?
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
That's the full is discussion and consideration of the police chief's response to 2022-23 grand jury report on human trafficking and school shootings. I'd like to recommend members of the grand jury are present at this time. Chief.
Good evening again. So I'm going to go over the grand jury report that we received this year for the 22-2023 year. They issued 2 reports that we needed to respond to. They were titled Sex Trafficking, Hiding in Plain Sight, and America is Bleeding School Shootings. Both those reports required a response from the Clearlake Police Department through the City Council. And just to start again, I'd like to thank the grand jury for their efforts in completing the report. The time they spent doing it, it was very detailed, and there was a lot of good information in the report, and we would definitely appreciate their willingness to meet with us and our staff during their time working on the report last year and learn about some of the challenges and opportunities regarding these 2 subjects. So in the 2 reports, there were 3 responses that were required from us. From the sex trafficking, hiding in plain sight, one of the responses was that the Clearlake Police Department provide annual training on trafficking for their officers and staff. From the America is Bleeding School Shootings report, there were 2 responses required. One for that school district officials and law enforcement officers include athletic events in their active shooter response plans. and that the school district officials hire SROs or school resource officers and provide them with specialized training to better understand adolescent development and nonviolent communication. So the department reviewed the findings and recommendations. The department agreed with all but one of the findings, which we partially disagree with. As far as the recommendations go, we have already implemented the recommendations. I'm just going to go over the specifics on those next. We'll go over the sex trafficking, hiding in plain sight first. On this one, there was 3 different findings. The first finding was that human sex trafficking cases are complex, require lengthy investigations, involve multiple agencies across county, state, and country boundaries, and are costly to resolve. We partially disagreed with that finding. The police department agrees that human trafficking cases are generally complex, require lengthy investigations, and are costly to resolve. The only minor thing we disagreed with was that the human sex trafficking cases have to involve multiple agencies across county, state, and county boundaries. While this is common, it's not in every case, but it's something we wanted to point out. One of the other findings was that Lake County Resource Center has developed detailed training materials on trafficking. We agree with that. And then we also agree with the finding that widespread education on trafficking, especially recommendations go, there was one recommendation that we provide annual training on trafficking for our officers and staff. The department has already been providing annual training to staff regarding human trafficking. Additionally, staffing and budgeting allows, we send staff members to more advanced training to further improve their knowledge and skills in these areas. The next report entitled America's Bleeding School Shootings. There were 6 findings on this one. We agreed with all of them. The findings were school shootings are relatively rare and have been increasing since 2017. That guns used in school shootings usually come from the students or a relative's home. That school violence is not uncommon at athletic events. And that SROs benefit from specialized training focusing on nonviolent communication with youth, social and emotional development. That single entrances and metal detectors at campus entrances are helpful in screening for weapons. And lastly, that school officials outreach to parents and guardians to sensitize them to worrisome changes in students' behavior can help identify at-risk students needing intervention. As far as recommendations go, there was 2 recommendations. The first one was that school district officials and law enforcement officers include athletic events in their active shooter response plans. Our response was it has been implemented. It was already implemented in the past and has been included in our active shooter response planning and training. The next recommendation was that the school district officials hire SROs and provide them with specialized training to better understand adolescent development and nonviolent communication. That one has been implemented on July 20th of this year. We entered into a MOU with the Connecticut Unified School District. Under the terms of that, we'll provide 1 full-time SRO to the district for the 23-24 school year. Additionally, the district may request additional Clearlake police officers to work school events such as football games, dances, and any other athletic events during the period. And this school resource officer, once they were selected, they went to a certified school resource officer course to learn about some of the things the grand jury had mentioned in their report. They attended that class the week before school started this year. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions or comments by the council? Go ahead.
This, since high school is in the county, does the county provide assistance to that field?
Yes, we are basically our SRO works there Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 3:30. After school hours, we'll deal with some things that the SROs will some things, but events outside of school hours are on the weekends, not at a school event. The sheriff's department will respond to. Thank you. Well,
By the public, or if the members of the grand jury have a question, you're welcome to join us.
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Any questions on the Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Chief, I did speak with the superintendent recently, and she just wanted to applaud and compliment the Clearlake Police Department, the SRO. She's very pleased with her professionalism and the way they were able to interact with the students. So a good job there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will definitely pass that along to the SRO and this.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed response from the chief and direct the city clerk to send it to these.
I'll second it. I have a motion by Vice Mayor and a second by Councilman Kramer. All those in favor? All right. Aye. Thank you. Councilman Susan. Play on. Our business, moving on to city manager and. Oh, sorry.
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
We get excited, folks.
Just a quick item I wanted to mention. The public petition, the strike here that was happening. It works for quite a while. I appreciate you, Director Lamb, making that happen. So this time we actually put together an agreement with the county. They have a striking truck to do this work, and so they would have been complete already, but they're having sitting. Coming back next week. And then there's still time to make the service. Starts at 7:30 tonight. No, the park will be one show tonight and 33 shows on Sunday. Joe, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Councilmember Kramer.
Yeah. I had a phone call last week. City resident complaining about no striping on the roads. Mr. McMahon. I always love getting phone calls. That it was like that evening that it was announced that the striping project was going to happen. I had a phone call from me this morning. I think he's giving me most of the credit. But yeah, it was very time. As far as meetings attended, it's they attended a few, or they. Our city, our Lake Chamber of Commerce has announced finally. Luau, which will be on the first. It's called One Creek, just Spanish Creek Winery. Same place as last year. We've got great entertainment planned. We had a great dinner catered by Cern Market and Lindy's Catering, who I understand do wonderful work. An auction this year, we're going to include one item now specifically benefits behind a fire recovery efforts. As they're heard they talked about earlier. That suffered some tremendous losses for part of our entertainment. Okay, relatives who live in Lahaina, and that's kind of brought it up to the forefront. So we're hoping to get a lot of people to attend the event and open your pocketbook, at least for this one item. All of them actually, but it'll be one way for you to help the citizens of the land. Third auction, yeah, put on Lake High School benefit page. Yeah. So, a lot of good things happening October 21st, 5:30 to 9 at Cache Creek Winery.
Thank you, Councilman Kramer. Councilman Overton.
I don't really have, or do you want to thank the city council for recognizing our senior center today, though? Because that is one thing that I think a lot of people are today. So I just want to make it.
And don't you have a thrift store that also supports the?
We do. We have the Meals on Wheels thrift store that's right on the corner of Golf and Lakeshore Drive, right in front of the youth center. So, and we're going to be having a big yard sale the second week in October. We're trying to work around everybody's events, you know, and we basically, it's actually, I think that's better. So,
Councilman Overton.
I have nothing to report. I was out of county. It's been a good time. Oh, I did say.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
I first have a question, and the question we get a lot of these service. What type of animals are involved at that service? I don't think there is. There are no. So we get that question a lot, no end, it's just a lot of fun. Easy. The other thing I wanted to raise was the fire this week. Zone Haven is the tool that our county uses. The name of it has changed. It's now Genesis, and I believe it. Make sure you know your zone. If you haven't hopped on there recently, when it's not being bombarded with traffic because there's a fire, do it now. Figure out your zone. Genesis Protect is the name of it now. The online tool seems great. It seems a lot smoother than it has been in years past. Please.
Yeah, I have nothing to report. I've been in meetings, but I do want to thank Councilman Kramer sitting in as the committee chair for Luau. So when we're plugged for the Luau, buy your tickets now, get early, because I think they're going to sell out fast. The entertainment's going to be amazing. All the Indian dancers, as you mentioned. Not in this area, unfortunately, the dancers who participated last year weren't available. So we went outside our market. I'm happy we connected with him because his family could use some help and we'll see their show. So come to the Luau. Yes, you want to do over?
Unfortunately, one thing I forgot to mention, so the regularly scheduled meeting September like 1st will be canceled because it's the end of the Sweet Cities Conference. Director Lehman does have a contract approval that we'd like to do before the end of the month, so we'll be in contact about having a short special meeting, just probably.
That's just a plug for the Derby that's coming up because you got your car set up and.
Still sitting there, but he does.
That's not a big chief side or. Okay, good. All right. Everything work, I'll move on to future agenda items. If you want to have an agenda item, we would like to see. Thank you very much. I'll close that item. And we will adjourn for 5 minutes and reconvene in a second. Thank you all for coming. We are recessed for 5 minutes.